Okay, Chapter 9, Day 3 notes. What we're going to look at are what are the types of surveys and what are the types of survey or sampling methods that we're using. All right, what are those different types? So some of these we've already seen in some of the videos, but I just want to recap and define each of these types for you. So the first type, simple random sample. And in the movie Party Sabetti said, it is a sample in which everyone has a chance to be chosen. It's a little bit more than that. It's a sample that could consist of all possible groups of the size that we need. So whatever size it is that we're looking for, all possible groups have to be allowed to be made, all possible combinations. Most of the time you'll see it, for example, drawing names from a hat. Put all the names in a hat, you pick out 5, there's your sample. Everyone gets a random number, you pull up a random number generator, and it selects people that way. Some teachers use popsicle sticks. All of that are types of simple random sample. Systematic, there's a system to it. Choosing every nth item, every nth. So pick a number. For example, pick every 5th house as you drive down the street and see if they have shutters. Pick every 10th person as they walk out of Wegmans. Pick every 4th student as they walk in the hall. Every nth. N is a number, and choosing every nth is a system, and it is systematic. Stratified, and she mentioned this in the video when she said let's first separate the population by rural, urban, and suburban counties, and then you're picking some from each county. Stratifying, separating the population into groups by a common characteristic. So you take whatever it is that you're working with and separate it into groups by some sort of common characteristic, then take a sample from each group. Then you take a little bit from each group, not all, just a little from each group. So for example, part our Arcadia High School students into groups by grade level. Then take a sample from each grade level. And that would be stratifying, because you're separating by grade level, picking some from each grade level. Something to keep in mind though, you don't always have to separate by grade level. We only separate if we feel the characteristic will impact the results. Okay? So for example, if I want to know what proportion of Arcadia students have a pet, I don't need to separate by grade level, because grade level and having a pet are not associated. But if I said what proportion of Arcadia students have a driver's license, then I'd want to separate by grade level and pick some from each grade level. Cluster. You have groups and you're going to randomly pick a group and survey everyone in the group. And that's the biggest difference, is once you've picked a group, you survey everything or everyone in that group. I have classes, Titan times, separated by grade level. I'm going to select one of those groups, go and randomly pick that class, survey everyone in that class. And that's a cluster. Think of a bunch, a cluster. So separate the high school by grade level, then survey everyone in the 10th grade. You could do that. Multi-staging. So this is working in stages, usually used with very large populations. You select the sample in stages, usually used for large populations. So for example, you might want to survey students in the country. Well, you're going to pick a state, then you might pick a county, then select a school district, then pick a student out of state, county, school district, and then you can get to a student. Now you can survey kids around the country, because you're not going to, without having that list of students. You don't have a list of all kids in the country. Next is called voluntary, when people voluntarily respond to a survey. You may say, well, everyone volunteers. Well, it's a little bit different. no one's really asking you to take the survey. You have the opportunity to do a survey, but you decide if you want to do it. And what I mean by the opportunity is no one walks up to you and say, will you take my survey? What they do is they might mail something home. A survey from school is mailed home, and you fill it out and mail it back. You have the opportunity. You just decide, I think I want to mail it in, I think I don't. You go to a restaurant, there's the comment card. All right? You have the opportunity to take that survey. You just decide whether or not you want to take it, and that's voluntary. And the last type is called convenience. You select items without randomization. It's the easy way out. We did it with the random rectangles on the very first day of school. We had the sheet of rectangles, if you remember, and you just conveniently picked 5 that you liked. So if I walk down the hall and I ask people questions as I meet them, that would be convenience. There's no randomization involved. If I walked down the hall and selected every 5th student, well, that would be systematic. So convenient, just conveniently picking without any kind of randomization. And those are the different types of sampling.